Ming sat through the appointment, his face composed, but his chest in knots. The urge to flip the table battled with the impulse to pull Zuri into a hug. "Mr. Tang?" Zuri's voice interrupted his thoughts. He knew she called him by his last name to maintain professionalism, but it still stung. She sounded like he was a stranger. She politely explained that recovery was possible if he began early rehabilitation, then recommended a qualified physical therapist. Ming's reply was blunt. "I'm not interested." Zuri's tone didn't change, but she was having a hard time hiding her frustration. "Can I ask what your concerns are?" "My concerns?" Ming said bitterly. "Do you really not have anything else to say to me? After all these years, this is it?" Zuri's composure wavered. "Ming, can you please calm down? This is a hospital. If you keep this up, I'll have no choice but to have you escorted out." Her voice was firm, but her heart ached. This bitter, angry version of him was unrecognizable. Outside, Mr. Wang, his assistant, heard the raised voices and knocked. "Is everything all right?" "We're done here," Ming replied sharply, rolling out without looking back. Zuri sat in her office, staring at the closed door. Ming's refusal to cooperate was exhausting. Was he always this insufferable? And also, she hadn't broken her promise. What was he talking about? That evening, at the Tang home, Mr. Wang said to Ming, "I've scheduled your next appointment." "I'm not seeing Dr. Ahadi again," Ming snapped. "I might die of anger." Mr. Wang hesitated before saying, "You won't have to. Your case has been transferred to another physiatrist." Ming froze. "What? Why?" "I didn't ask you to. Dr. Ahadi recommended it," Mr. Wang responded. Ming went quiet, suddenly feeling a sense of loss and regret. Maybe he'd gone too far. Mr. Wang glanced at him pensively. "I haven't seen you lose your temper like that in years. What was that about?" Ming exhaled and leaned back in his chair. His voice was pained as he said, "It's like you keep someone in the most sacred part of your heart for years. You make excuses for them, telling yourself they must have had a reason for leaving. But then you see them again, and they treat you like a stranger. Just a passing memory. I thought she was my closest friend." Mr. Wang's voice was gentle. "Maybe you misunderstood. You were in a hospital. She was on duty. It probably wasn't the right time or place for a personal conversation." "Why are you taking her side?" Ming said. Mr. Wang almost scoffed at Ming's pettiness. "I'm not. I've just never seen you care this much about anyone since I started working for you. That kind of connection is worth fighting for. Even if things don't go back to the way they were, at least you'd have closure. And now that she's no longer your doctor, it might be easier to get her to agree to a personal meeting." Ming ran a hand through his hair. "I don't know if she'll even want to see me again after what I said." "You'll never know until you try. Think about it," Mr. Wang said, already on his way out. Ming didn't need to think. He had already made his decision. He didn't have Zuri's personal number, so the next day, he waited outside the hospital entrance for her to get off work. Every passing minute made him question if this was a mistake. But then, Zuri stepped out. "Ming?" she said, surprised to see him. "I'm sorry about the other day," he said, voice low. Zuri crossed her arms, her expression neutral. "It's all right. I've already recommended you to another doctor. I hope it goes better for you." "Please," he said, lifting his eyes to hers. "Just give me 15 minutes. We need to talk." She hesitated. "Not today, but maybe this weekend." Ming happily accepted. That weekend, they met at a cafe. Zuri sat across from Ming, eyes cautious. "Zuri, I'm sorry," Ming said again, softly. His sulky look reminded her of high school. The time he apologized for her getting hurt, her expression softened. "What happened back there, Ming? Why were you so upset?" He exhaled slowly. "I waited for you all through high school, hoping one day you'd show up and tell me why you left after promising we'd stay friends. Then I see you again, and you act like nothing happened. I guess I just snapped. But I should have known you were at work, and I was out of line. I'm sorry. It's all right," Zuri said gently. "I forgive you." He gave a self-deprecating smile. "You must think I'm pathetic, still stuck on my high school crush." Zuri raised a brow. "Crush?" Ming's heart dropped. He wanted to punch himself for letting that slip. Zuri smiled shyly, but didn't press further. "Why did you leave without saying anything?" Ming asked finally. Your home landline wasn't working, and when I stopped by your house, you had moved. But you had my home landline and address. You could have reached out. Zuri tilted her head, puzzled. I did. Ming blinked. What? When? I asked my parents to call your home. Someone picked up and told them never to contact you again. I also wrote you letters. But eventually, when you never replied, I stopped. Ming was stunned. Zuri, I promise I never got any letters. I figured, she said quietly. I couldn't believe you'd just ignore me. What did you write in the letters? Ming asked gently. Zuri's expression turned grim. I had leukemia. Ming froze. What? What do you mean? Are you okay? The surprises just kept coming. Zuri nodded. I am now. It was caught early and treatment worked. But I had to go to a specialist hospital in Beijing. Shortly after, my parents were transferred back to the UK, so we'd be closer to family. It was all so sudden. Ming's heart broke for her. He imagined her in hospital beds, weak and fighting to survive. I'm so sorry, he said, voice thick with emotion. You went through all that, and I wasn't there. For a moment, she saw the boy she knew would protect her with everything. It's okay. There's nothing you could have done, she said tenderly. Then, after a pause, added, This doesn't mean I'm taking you back as a patient, though. Why not? Ming asked, genuinely concerned. It's not ethical to treat close friends, Zuri said. Ming couldn't hide his smile. So, we're still close friends. Zuri smiled back genuinely and responded, Always. Ming was so happy he wanted to hug her. Instead, he reached across the table and covered her hand with his. She squeezed it gently in return. Don't worry, she said. I've referred you to one of my mentors. He's excellent. Ming nodded. If you trust him, so do I. Will you also go to the physical therapist I recommended? If you keep delaying therapy, it'll decrease the chances of a full recovery. Ming hesitated, then nodded. I'll give it a try. Zuri smiled brightly. You'll be in good hands. After a short discussion, they exchanged numbers before parting ways. That evening, Ming returned home, noticeably in a good mood. Mr. Wang raised an eyebrow. Dr. Ahadi works wonders, he teased. Ming ignored him, but a small smile tugged at his lips, even as they discussed some unresolved business decisions from the day. Shortly after, they heard the front door open. His father had returned. Ming let Mr. Wang head home first. Then he wheeled himself into the living room. Face to face with his father, he went straight to the point. Did you ever get any letters from my former classmate Zuri or her parents? Mr. Tang's face stiffened. A flicker of guilt flashed in his eyes. Yes, he said calmly. I threw them away. Ming's jaw clenched. Why? She was a distraction. You never got in trouble at school until you met her. Ming clenched his fists. Mr. Li's son, Chen, was obviously the problem, not her. Zuri was the one good thing I had after Mom died, and you destroyed that too. Ming's voice cracked as the pent-up frustration simmered to the surface. I never blamed you for disappearing into work, for leaving me to figure out how to grieve alone, but you had no right to hide that information from me. Before Mr. Tang could respond, Ming turned and disappeared into his room. Mr. Tang sat in silence, wondering if he had been wrong after all. The next week, Ming began physical therapy. His therapist Wei was a warm, confident, and enthusiastic man. Each session was grueling, but Ming pushed through. He met his new physiatrist, Dr. Yang, monthly, and had physical therapy sessions with Wei 5 times a week. Once in a while, he and Zuri would chat over the phone about his progress, and whenever she said she was proud of him, that was all the encouragement he needed. One afternoon, Zuri visited during a rehab session. Ming's face lit up when he saw her, but so did Wei's. Zuri! Wei beamed, hurrying over. What are you doing here? I came to check on my friend, she said. They chatted easily, laughing like old friends, which they were because they had attended the same college in the UK. Ming watched, a strange jealousy stirring in his chest. Zuri hadn't laughed with him like that in a long time. Hey, Mr. Grumpy, she said as she walked over to him. Ming scoffed. What are you doing here? "Just checking on you. Is it okay if I stop by more often?" she said. "Sure, but won't work keep you busy." Zuri shook her head. "I'm taking a few months off. I've been a bit overwhelmed." Ming raised a brow. A few months. He was glad she'd be around, but that seemed like a long time. "Are you sure you're okay, Zuri?" he asked, concerned. "I'm fine," she said, smiling, although the smile didn't quite reach her eyes. Then she turned and left, waving them goodbye. Shortly after, Zuri got into her car and sat in silence. She reached down and picked up a crumpled piece of paper from the floor, something she had thrown aside days ago, hoping to forget. Her fingers smoothed the edges, and her eyes scanned the contents again. A wave of emotion surged up from her chest. She gripped the steering wheel with both hands, then slowly lowered her head onto it, shoulders shaking, as the sobs finally came.